I did not realize I was not here. Hi, look it. I'll talk about this in a minute. It's Canada Day, eh? I hope my Canadian friends are all out celebrating. We're going to talk about it a little bit. So let's roll the intro and then, whoops, come back. Boom! Let's do this. All right, that's my fish that I caught. I think I've shared it before. See that? That is one big arse northern pike, which is my favorite fish to catch, and that is caught in Canada. So we've had a place up there since 1926. Sasquatch has never been there, unfortunately, though. I've got lots of Canadian things. I've got this RCMP shirt on, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Then this is the French version. I had to look it up. It's very hard. Let's see. Gendarmerie Royale du Canada. It's a very tight shirt. I've had it a while. It's not very forgiving, but it's fun. So today's Canada Day, in case you didn't know. I know I've talked about it before, but it's much like our 4th of July celebration. So I'm just basically going to share a little bit of history with you. So a couple of funny stories and 5 top names, hilarious names of lakes in Canada. So I hope you enjoy it. I got all my information from all of these places. Yes. And my Candor with Katy little logo up there. I just used the maple leaf because even though it's got a yellow background. Because it's got a maple leaf on it. Okay. So let's start. Oh, hey, today. It's Canada Day, eh? This is a lot of fun. I just love it. And so it used to be, and I've talked about this before. We've a place in Ontario, Lake of the Woods, and you get there by boat. So it's really cool. It's been in our family and love spending summers up there. And every July 1st and July 4th, they would have fireworks in the bay. So we'd take our boats over there. And then we would watch all the fireworks. Oh, Sasquatch was having a hard time today. Okay, so let us begin, shall we? Okay, so Canada has the largest moose population in the world. Blah, blah, blah. I guess I don't have to read all that information to you. Let's see. Hang on. Let me fix this thing because it's in the way. Hang on. Take a look at that beautiful moose right there. Moose are really, really beautiful. They just are. They have an excess of 1 million moose. Aren't they pretty? Oh, look at the mom and her little calf. Okay. Poutine. This is the best thing in the world. There's lots of controversy around it. It was supposedly invented in Quebec, but it's basically deliciousness. It's fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And then it says also it can be found everywhere in Canada, from fine dining menus at top restaurants to fast food chains, including McDonald's and Burger King, which I guess makes sense because you can go to other countries and still get like burritos there. Oh, hey, Pam, I see Pam here. Lori says moose soup. Oh my God. Moose soup. So I'm really sad because all my friends are traveling to Norway this week. I'm going to drown myself in my coffee and I don't get to go. And the moose soup is the best. It's ground moose soup. Pam says in some areas of Canada, we have moose tunnels so that moose can go under a highway instead of crossing it. Oh my God, that is so cool. And Pam says, I love pulled pork on my poutine. Yeah, anything, right? So we have poutine here in Phoenix, believe it or not. So it's delicious. And let me tell you, fries with brown gravy, beyond delicious also. Not just any regular brown gravy. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a little place in Kenora where it's close to where our place is in Naki. It's a restaurant called Yesterday's. I don't know if it's still open. It had the best poutine, best burgers, and I really want to be back there. Oh, and then since we have similar holidays that are kind of close, the Canadian Thanksgiving is actually older than the American Thanksgiving. It was taking place in 1578. So basically, they did this. They attributed it to this Sir Martin Frobisher in 1578, and they had a feast to celebrate a safe journey. And then the American one is at 1621, harvest feast shared between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So we kind of share some holidays. Oh, and of course, they are famously known for their maple syrup. It produces 85% of the world's maple syrup. And if you've never had true Canadian pure maple syrup, you are missing out. Get you some. Get you some. Okay? All right. So Canada is highly educated. They consistently rank among the most educated countries in the world, with over 56% of Canadians aged 25 to 64 having completed some form of post-secondary education. That's pretty badass. Way to go, Canada. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so here it's the second largest country. It's got an area of 9,984,670 square kilometers, which is about 3,855 square miles. Okay, the population is 41.2 million. And the reason why I put the population of California in there is because as of January 2025, the population of California is 39,529,000. So I'm relating to the whole country of Canada is about the same size population-wise as the whole country state of California. So it's very, very big, but doesn't have as many people as we have in the United States. Pam says, we is smart. We be smart. That's for sure, Pam. you are very, very smart. Okay, I'm trying to run through these because I have some really fun information to give to you. So John Cabot is the guy who claimed Canada for England in 1497. He unexpectedly arrived at what is modern-day Newfoundland and accidentally marked England's initial claim. So does that sound familiar to you? A little bit like part of the U.S. history, maybe Columbus. Pam says 879,000-ish lakes in Canada. Oh, yeah, that is crazy. Pam, you got to stay on because I'm going to talk 5 of the most hilarious lake names in all of Canada, and it is funny. Okay, quickly. All right, basketball was invented in Canada. I don't know if you know that, in 1891. The first game of basketball used a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets as equipment, unlike the modern gear used today. So this guy, James Naismith, that invented it, went to New England, and that's where he did it. But he is from Canada and thought about it there. And that's pretty interesting to me. So people that love basketball, that's cool. All right, Leif Erikson, probably, one of my I'm direct descendant for sure. He was a Norse explorer from Iceland, and I am Icelandic, Norwegian, and Swedish, and a little bit Irish and British. Anywho, he discovered, he landed in Canadian soil around 1,000 years ago, specifically Newfoundland, just like that other guy. And this is, there's this monument of him. That's him standing on that mount there. So Leif Erikson Monument in front of Reykjavik Church in Iceland. And I'm going to share how to pronounce this because although I am I'm learning Norwegian. This is a very hard thing to pronounce. It's very strange. Okay, so let me share this. Okay, you ready for this? Let me make sure this is here. Okay, so hang on one sec. La la la. Oh, that's not it. Hang on. Here it is. Okay, listen to this. Are you ready?
You are looking at Julian's pronunciation guide, where we look at how
he sounds a little creepy, doesn't he?
Icelandic pronunciation. Church. Hallgrímskirkja.
It's like hot. It's very strange. Isn't that crazy? I'll play it one more time.
Hallgrímskirkja.
Like hot cleans. It's very strange. Very cool church though, because it was the place that supposedly the idea of Marvel used for Asgard, is the home of the gods in Norse mythology. So Pam says the school was so upset he cut a hole in the bottom of the baskets. Is that true? Because I didn't see that on there. But the game's really, really come a long way since then. That's interesting too. Okay, Alexander Graham Bell actually is from Scotland, but moved to Brantford, Ontario. And while the telephone was invented by Bell, who was Scottish and an immigrant to Canada, his initial work on the telephone was done in both Canada and the United States. He experimented with the device in Ontario, and made the first phone call over telegraph wires between Brantford and Mount Pleasant. But however, the first telephone patent was filed and the first telephone was built in the United States. So if you didn't know that, now you know. That's kind of cool history. Okay, Santa Claus actually resides in Canada. Did you know that? Every year, children from all over the world write down their Christmas wishes and send letters to Santa, care of the unique postal code HOH, OHO, ho, 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 which that's how the postal, so POX1JO was the one in Maneki for us. So that's how their postal codes go. The Trans-Canada Highway is a very impressive stretch of road, 7,821 kilometers long, which is about almost 5,000 miles. It goes all the way across Canada from Victoria and British Columbia to Labrador on the Atlantic coast. And I have been, you can't see my thing, but basically, if you could look in the middle, right above Minnesota, there's a little place called Kenora. I've been from that way all the way over to the west, but it's before I knew Pam. So I didn't see you then, Pam. Okay, so Canada Day has been a day of celebration since 1868. Canadians across the country and around the world show their pride in their history and culture of achievement and achievements. So in 1867, the Constitution Act created Canada. 1868, they signed a proclamation that, with the Queen, right, to celebrate July 1st. And then in 1879, it made it a holiday as the anniversary of Confederation, which is later called Dominion Day. And then not until 1982 did it become Canada Day. So it's just much like the United States. We celebrate, that's my favorite guy. We celebrate with, fireworks and barbecues and stuff like that. All right, Red Green's my favorite. I'm going to show you this. There's a lot of famous comedians, and I could have shared a lot of famous comedians. This guy's the best. He has this comedy show. Look at him. He has all these weird inventions. Oh, God. Hang on. My throat is so dry. Okay, so he's still kicking around. He's 78. He just made the Comedy Hall of Fame in Canada. So this is a site you can go to, redgreen.com, and it's got a whole bunch of things on there. Possum Lodge is where he is. He's got all kinds of merch. You can watch episodes. YouTube has all of them, I believe, but you can also watch on Roku, all these channels. I've got Roku, so it's on there. You can buy stuff. He's got a podcast. So look at him. 79 years old. He's still kicking around. That's him really young. He always reminded me of my dad, kind of. So he always had very famous sayings. Oh, I keep dropping these. I'm going to talk about Tim Hortons. Okay, so this is one of his favorite sayings. Let me show you this one too. Share screen. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. This is it's right at the end here.
You may not. Remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together.
All right, he's awesome. Okay. Whew. How's everybody doing out there? Let's see here. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Sorry. Had to pause the YouTube channel there. Okay, Tim Hortons. This is what everybody knows. This is the Tim Hortons cup. Okay. Oops, sorry, knocked that out of there. Okay. Oh my God. I hope you can still hear me. Can you? All right, I'm putting Sasquatch down here. Anyway, Tim Hortons is, I'm going to briefly go through that. I wrote down more information than I needed, but I used to love Tim Hortons. They had great sandwiches and great coffee, great donuts. He was a very famous hockey player that was born in 1930, Miles Gilbert Horton. And after hockey, he wanted to have a barbecue or steakhouse franchise, but he invested in this motor company called Horton Motors, and then that didn't last. And then he would get his hair cut in this mall, and this guy that cut his hair, where's his name? Jim Charade, or Sherrod. He had a donut shop, so he kind of paired with him. And this was their first one in Hamilton, Ontario, which is like north of Toronto there. And it was like an old Esso station, which is like an Exxon. So it used to, unlike current stores, the first Tim Hortons had counter seating and a window through which customers could watch them make their 40 variations of donuts. And let's see, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it just turned into this big thing. And another guy came in on it. And then Horton just kind of started drinking too much. And he got into this car accident because he was drinking. And he died. And now Tim Hortons is made the majority owned by a Brazilian investment firm, 3G Capital. So Pam, if you're still on here, what do you think about that? I think there's a lot of Canadians that are like mad about it because it's like it's not a Canadian coffee place anymore, but people still see it as that, you know. So it's funny how things get branded and then it just kind of stays that way. Okay, so now I've got some funny stories for you, and then the names of 5 lakes. Are you ready? These are really good. Okay, 2 doctorate students have apparently proven that Canadians are, in fact, more polite than their southern counterparts. Comparing the top 10% of words used in millions of geotagged tweets, they determined Canadians are more polite than Americans, even on Twitter. It turns out they also, or X, whatever, they are also very courteous when they steal cars. In December 2018, a woman in Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia, returned from shopping to where she'd parked, only to find that her vehicle had been stolen. She told responding RCMP officers that she'd parked next to an identical white Hyundai Santa Fe. It turned out that the driver of the other SUV had simply gotten into hers and driven away. RCMP Corporal Dal Hutchinson explained that neither vehicle was left running in the parking lot and that some push-button start vehicles can be started without the keyless fob actually being in the vehicle. News to me. The thief eventually realized his mistake and returned the SUV to its rightful owner, but not before he'd already filled it up with gas. And of course, since this is Canada, the woman reimbursed him for the fuel cost. Isn't that awesome? Okay, next story. Oh, this is a good one. All right. So Rodney Dangerfield, the late comedian Rodney Dangerfield said, "I went to a fight the other night and a hockey game broke out. In this case, it was a massive highway pileup that got the proceedings underway." So in January 2019, on Highway 40 near L'Assomption, Quebec, some 45 kilometers, 28 miles from Montreal, 40 to 50 cars, some say as high as 75, were involved in a huge crash in wintry conditions. Several people suffered minor injuries due to the accident, which also caused the highway to be closed for several hours while the lanes were cleared. While waiting for emergency crews to reopen the road, a group of people made the most of the snow and ice-covered highway with an impromptu game of street hockey. Of course, this is Canada, and it was winter, so needless to say, plenty of folks had skate sticks and pucks in their cars, ready to go. While the video footage of the impromptu game went viral, the final score is unknown. This would be like what us Highland gamers do. We usually have stuff in our cars, so like I can't imagine we'd get out and throw heavy things around a bunch of cars in the snow, but I think that was pretty cool. Okay, so, here's a couple other stories. Ready? Okay. So this was June of this year. So this is Canada's imaginary hat. So this is like a story of a lady and a scammer call. I'm at home and my phone rings, but it shows private number. Instead of a name or a phone number, no one I know has caller ID blocked, but you never know. It might be legit. So I answer, scammer. Hello, I'm Agent Smith of the Internal Revenue Service. I'm calling for that person's name. Ah, yes, the IRS scam. It has to be a scam because I'm Canadian. I live in Canada and I do not have U.S. citizenship. Pam, does this sound familiar to something else that you had to do? Not with the call, but with the beamer. Okay. Scammer. Hello, I'm Agent. Okay, so yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, me speaking. Scammer. Yes. Hello. Hello. Yes. I'm calling about back taxes. Can you confirm your social security number for me, please? Me. I don't have a social security number. Scammer. What? Of course you do. Everyone has one. Me. No, I'm special. Scammer. No, look at it. Now look, this is quite serious. If you refuse to cooperate, I will have no choice but to have the FBI arrest you. Me. Good luck with that. Last I checked, the FBI has no jurisdiction in Canada. Goodbye. I hang up. Not even 10 seconds later, the phone rings, and it's a private number on the display again. Pretty sure it's the scammer. I pick up, and I'm all set to tell them to get lost. But the scammer beats me to it. He says to me, Canada isn't real. And then he hangs up. All righty then. Okay. Now, this is the best part, and this will go fairly quickly. These are the top 5 funny lake names in Canada, which I took from a list of 10. These are the top 5. Okay. And then I did a little tad bit more. This is called Love, Saskatchewan. A Saskatchewan village that's home to only about 52 people still manages to get recognition from around the world, especially on Valentine's Day. And one of the pictures I looked at says, you are now in love. So I don't know if they have hotel rooms and stuff. I don't know if people go up there to stay, but I didn't include it on the maps because if you're really interested, you can go check them out. But I think that's kind of cute. Love Saskatchewan. Okay. Dildo, Newfoundland. Dildo, Newfoundland. Okay, not what you think though. I was like, why in the world would you name it Dildo? The exact origin is unknown, but the most likely explanation is that it refers to a type of nautical pin used in rowboats. Specifically, the dildo was a wooden peg or pin inserted into the side of the rowboat to act as a pivot for the oar. So I can picture this in my head. Don't know why they call it a dildo. Can't post comments. This thing, I don't know if people are commenting. It says can't post comments to any of my current destinations. Learn more. I don't know what's going on. Pam, if you're on here, make a comment. See if I can see it. If I can't, no big deal, I guess. Almost done here. This is in the way. What is this one? Oh, Vulcan, Alberta. Named by a Canadian Pacific Railway surveyor in the early 1900s after the Roman god of fire, Vulcan. The surveyor, a student of Roman mythology, simply found the name fitting for the location, while the town later embraced the connection to the Star Trek character Spock's home planet. The name's origin is rooted in classic mythology, not in science fiction. Oh, okay, Pam, good. Not now. Every time a dildo is used, we should pivot. See, Canadians, funny. That was classic, Pam. Thanks for commenting. Climax, Saskatchewan. I had a joke about Saskatchewan, and I'll have to find it later and maybe put it in a short. Okay, so that's a very old picture, obviously, where it says, welcome to Climax, go slow. And then there's please come again, haha. If it wasn't for the grain elevators, you'd probably miss this little town with only 100 residents. This village was named for Climax, Minnesota, which itself was named for a tobacco product. A.P. Estenson was one of the early settlers to the area, and he was from Climax, Minnesota. And this kind of makes me laugh, by the way, because there's so like we have a Peoria, Arizona here, like it's one of our suburbs, and it's named from the people who lived in Peoria, Illinois. I grew up in Roswell, New Mexico since I was 10. I moved there when I was 10. And there's Roswell, Georgia. I mean, like, can you not be more creative than naming it the exact same place that you came from? But maybe he did it because he wanted to be controversial with the name. You never know. Okay, Crotch Lake. So I still couldn't see it. Okay, so located in the North Frontenac Parklands of Ontario, Canada, gets its name from its shape, which resembles the crotch of a tree. Sure, the crotch of a tree. That's why they called it Crotch Lake. The lake is divided into two basins connected by a narrow passage, further emphasizing the crotch-like appearance. So that's apparently right there. If you move it around, like I was trying to find different pictures, I guess you can kind of see it. Or if you kind of make it like a cartoony-like picture, then you would kind of see it. But why do you think... Oh, Pam, I almost had that one on here. Saint Louis du Haha is in Quebec. I almost put that in here, but I was like, okay, this is going to be a really long... And it's actually haha with 2 exclamation points. That's part of the thing that's unique about it. Oh, celebrate. Okay, I think one more and we're... Oh, that was it. That was the last one. So what do you think of, like, the names of the lakes? Like, don't you think, like, especially back then, did some guy just go, hey, I want to name this Crotch Lake, you know? And then he could. Like, didn't anybody protest or anything? It's just strange. Anyway, I didn't share all the things about Canada. I didn't share all the famous people. I didn't share all the greatest food or the sayings or whatever. But Canada's pretty freaking awesome, and I love it. And I wish I lived there right now. And I hope everybody's out celebrating. So Pam, our friend Michelle Crownhart is visiting Pam right now, and so I hope you guys are going to go out and celebrate. Maybe you'll stay up late enough for the fireworks because it gets darker a lot later there. And so yeah, you guys, thanks for joining me. Next week, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but it'll be something. How's that for keeping you in suspense? Like and subscribe because I'm going to put this on the YouTube. Hey, Sit Squatch is Tiny Heiny very happy because he says the journey begins with you. So be good to yourself. And I say well, I love you. So thanks for joining. You guys are a blast. Happy Tuesday. Happy Canada Day. And I'll, got a comment. Crotch means shepherd's hook. Well, yeah, but in that circumstance, they said it was like the crotch of 2 legs. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Thank you, Pam. Okay, bye, everybody.